Welcome back to Enjoy Every Bite. Now this is the part of the course you've all been waiting for. It's called chocolate. And today we're going to look at how to eat mindfully by practicing, okay? You know, I think the perfect quote for this part of the course is, all you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt. That's Charles Schulz of Peanuts fame, if you're familiar with the comic strip and the cartoons. You know, chocolate comes in all kinds of forms, huh? And I hope you have some today. You can use something else if you need to, but I hope you have some of your favorite chocolate, and we're gonna go into that in a minute. But first, just like so often, a little bit of a story. You know, for my 29th birthday, I was given a great gift, a trip to Belize with my wife and my two sons. You know, when we were there, we went to the beach, we did some kayaking, we did some scuba diving, some snorkeling. It's just an amazing trip. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. But one of the things we did while we were there is we took a cacao plantation tour. Very fascinating. You know, it started actually in the understory, because cacao trees are medium-sized trees. They grow in the understory of the rainforest. So you walk in there and you see these little medium-sized trees, about the size of like a small dogwood, if you will, if you're familiar with what a dogwood is. And these big green pods, about the size of like a small football, like a Nerf football, are growing out of the tree. And our guide took his machete, cut one off, cut it open, opened this green pod up, and inside were all these white beans. You know, not too big, maybe a little bit, about a quarter size around, but sort of oval in shape. And the whiteness on the outside, if you put it in your mouth, it tastes very much like mango. It's very, very sweet. But inside that mango-like covering is the actual cacao, which we made into chocolate. So we took the tour, looked at the trees, got our own pods, took them back to the factory where they produced all of their chocolate for export and sale. And there we got to, by hand, just like the Mayans used to do, use a stone, like a stone roller in a little stone bowl. And it took about an hour, but you just went back and forth, rubbing these beans out until they produced the right consistency to add a little bit of sugar, and if you wanted, a little bit of milk. Put it in the freezer, and then in about 30 minutes, you had your very own chocolate bar. So that was very wonderful. If you ever get to do that, I'd highly recommend it. Now, our chocolate eating's coming up next. But before we do that, let's get ready. And just a minute of mindfulness, okay? Take a deep breath in, and close your eyes. And all I want you to do is take 3 deep breaths in and out. Becoming a little more centered and grounded. All right, you can open your eyes. You know, one thing I forgot to mention is a big part of mindful eating, when you start really incorporating it into your life, is knowing where your food comes from, knowing how it's made, maybe even knowing who grows it. And that's something we'll talk about here at the end of this portion of the course. But that's something that really came to me. I had no idea where chocolate came from. No idea what a cacao tree looked like, or how it was processed, or how they actually harvested those pods. I had never seen one of those before. All right, speaking of though, let's enjoy some of the fruits of the labor of the chocolate farmers, okay? So get your chocolate out now. And again, if you don't have some, something else. But chocolate just works really well because it's something that, number one, we normally just pop and don't even think about, right? Because it's so good. But today we're going to take a little bit slower approach. So go ahead, and I'm not going to put any in my mouth because I need to walk you through this. Let's go through a real experience of eating mindfully. So if you have your one piece of chocolate in hand, just take your time. We're doing this slowly, okay? This is definitely the slowest chocolate eating you've ever done. So first of all, just open it. Open that package and take a second. And you should be able to smell it, especially the darker stuff. Milk chocolate obviously is probably has the least amount of chocolate or cacao in it. So but even then, take a second to smell it. What does it smell like? Maybe break off a piece. What does it look like? What's the texture? Is it really kind of soft or is it hard and brittle? All right, now that you have a small piece in your hand, go ahead and place it on your tongue, but do not eat it. Do not chew it. Just place it on your tongue. Chocolate has literally hundreds of nuanced flavors. Now, it's just not sweet. It's just not chocolate. There's all kinds of, and the darker ones in particular have even more nuanced flavors, right? It can be a little bit bitter, not just sweet. So just let it sit there on your tongue. What do you notice as it begins to melt? This is a good time to just breathe. If your mind wanders a little bit, just bring it right back to the flavor, the experience of that chocolate melting on your tongue. All right, whenever you're ready, you can slowly swallow. So how was that? We're just doing one piece. You're welcome to do more after this part of the course is over, but how was that compared to the normal way that you eat a piece of chocolate or really anything, right? Certainly a lot slower, I know that, but was it more satisfying? That's why I've said before, you can eat more slowly and eat less. Enjoy it more and eat less. And this I think, is a really good example of that. So our practice for today, just like with me going to the chocolate plantation, the cacao plantation, and figuring out or finding out how chocolate is produced and comes to us, I want you to, for just one meal, to understand where your food came from. And I don't mean out of a box or a bag or from the delivery guy. I mean, what's in it? What's really in it? And this does not have to be, you don't have to eat some organic, free range, locally grown, locally sourced. I'm talking about anything, even if you are eating fast food. Where does it come from? What's in it? How was it made? Maybe who made it? What in a bigger sense, what are the consequences of it being made? And how does it affect me, not only nutritionally, but just taste-wise? So really, for one meal, get to know what you're eating. All right, thank you so much for joining me today for this part of Enjoy Every Bite, and I'll see you next time.